Today is July 4th, and on Today in Murder, we discuss the political murders of Grand Lake, Colorado. In 1883, on July 4th, 3 county commissioners, the county clerk, and the sheriff were shot dead during a political dispute. Before we jump into the murders, we have to go back in time a bit. The build-up of this deadly encounter had been building up for months, if not years. 4 years prior to the shooting, the town was essentially laid out by a man named William Redmond. He goes by Bill. The town was beginning to grow quite large for that time in history. As the town grew larger, debates began about moving the county seat over to Grand Lake from Hot Sulphur Springs. Hot Sulphur Springs was a nearby town within the county. Bill and his group didn't want the county seat moved over to Grand Lake. They wanted to be left alone. Regardless, in 1881, after a whole lot of bickering and litigation, the vote came in and Grand Lake was officially the new county seat. During the argument involving this move, a sort of hatred stirred up between the two places. A part of Bill Redmond's friend group was Charles Royer, a man from Hot Sulphur Springs. In 1881, Royer was elected sheriff of his county and assigned Redmond to be his deputy. Now the main power group of Grand Lake was Bill Redmond, his brother Bass, Sheriff Royer, and John Mills, who was a friend of Redmond and an alleged fugitive of murder. On the other side of the coin, you had the Hot Sulphur Springs power group. This group was consisted of E.P. Weber, considered the leader of the group, Barney Day, an Indian fighter, and Captain Dean, a fighter and crack shot. Tensions rose between the groups, leading to the 1882 campaign where both groups were appointed certain political positions for the county from Senator Nathan Hill. Throughout the years, there was a lot of behind closed doors meetings, secret conversations, and as you can probably guess, this didn't help anyone. On July 2nd, 1883, the Hot Sulphur Springs group, we can from now on call the Weber group, decided they were going to go behind one of the Redmond group, John Mills, back and oust the county clerk. Next, the plan was to oust Sheriff Royer. Someone was trying to take over. The public caught wind of the attempted oust of the county clerk Pollard, which changed how they felt about the sheriff's situation. Something didn't sit right with the public, and it didn't sit right with the Redmond group either. During this period, the Weber group and other political leaders were staying in a hotel known as the Fairview House. The day is now July 4th. It's 9 o'clock at night, and fireworks are being shot off for the celebration of Independence Day, much like they do now. Down the road from the hotel, 12 to 15 shots were heard ringing, although hotel guests at the time just assumed it was more fireworks. That is until a man rushed from the town crying out, "Weber has been shot." That's when hotel guests ran out to discover 4 bodies. About 200 yards from the hotel, they found Weber shot through the lung. Not far away, they found Captain Dean not only shot right on the nose and hip, but also cut up badly from being beaten. At the corner of the hotel's old ice house nearby, with his head in the lake, Barney Day was shot right through the heart. In the middle of the road close by was a 4th body later recognized as John Mills. Over his head was a flour sack with holes cut for eyes and mouth. A bullet had been fired into his head execution style at such close range that the cloth mask was burned. A trail of blood led from the scene to the outlet of the lake 300 yards away, and then it disappeared. Following the trail, they found a second mask similar to the one on Mills. The bodies of the dead men were taken to Grand Lake and the wounded to the Fairview House Hotel. Weber died soon after and Captain Dean died days later. But who did this? Well, this case is still unsolved, but there's quite a bit still known about that night. Somewhere between 6 to 9 men ambushed Weber, who was believed to have been the first shot. It's claimed Weber screamed out, "I am shot," and fell into the arms of Day and Dean. That's when they were then attacked, and now bullets were flying from both sides. Dean was shot in his hip, as was Mills, and Day ran from the scene. That's when Day approached the ice house where he saw Sheriff Royer approaching. Day felt relieved at seeing an officer of the law and he ran towards him. Sheriff Royer then pulled out his gun and shot Day through the chest. Day died almost immediately. We know this because Royer allegedly confessed to this to a friend before ending his own life that August. The wounded man who left a trail of blood to the outlet of the lake was believed to have been Bill Redmond, but this was never proven. Multiple men were tried for these killings, but none were convicted. It was later found Redmond fled to the mountains and hid in a mountain cabin about 4 miles northwest of Grand Lake. His wounds were dressed by doctors, brought up by friends of his in secret. Once Bill was ready for travel, his brother Bass is said to help him move to Utah. The body of a man was found there. Pinned to his saddle was the name William Redmond. It was later revealed that this was not Redmond, and it was found later Redmond had fled to Arizona and then later to South America. In 1888, the county seat was moved back to Hot Sulphur Springs, which ended the bitterness between the two places. To this day, the murders remain unsolved officially, although based on these detailed, alleged accounts, it seems this case is solved. It is July 4th, and on Today in Murder, that was the political killings of Grand Lake, Colorado.